Here's a third round of artists who have only released one album. Number 1, I'm going to start off with Heaven and Hell, the album The Devil You Know, 2009, Warner Brothers and Rhino Records. Die-hard fans will consider this a Black Sabbath album. It features the Mob Rules album lineup of Tony Iommi on guitar, Geezer Butler on bass, Ronnie James Dio on vocals, and Vinny Appice on drums. Due to legal reasons, the Black Sabbath name could not be used, as an agreement between Tony Iommi and the Osbournes around the year 1997, the approximate time this agreement was made. The whole album is great, and in my opinion better than the final Black Sabbath album, 13, featuring Ozzy Osbourne on vocals. Heaven and Hell toured before this album was released, as well as after to support it. Sadly, Ronnie James Dio passed away before the tour was finished. Heaven and Hell's final gig featured Glenn Hughes on vocals, who sang on a Black Sabbath album, The Seventh Star, as well as 2 of Tony Iommi's solo albums. Number 2, we have Roger Glover and Guests, with the album The Butterfly Ball and the Grasshopper Feast, 1974, Purple Records. Assembled by Deep Purple bassist Roger Glover, featuring notable vocalists Ronnie James Dio, Ian Gillan, and Glenn Hughes, David Coverdale, and several others. The concept album is based off a children's poem of the same name, and the musical style is more of a rock opera. It is a very catchy and soothing album to listen to. Number 3, we have Newstead, Heavy Metal Music, 2013, Chop House Records. Bassist Jason Newsted has been busy in the 2000s, performing with Voivod and Ozzy Osbourne, and a brief moment with his original band Flotsam and Jetsam. The album has a Motorhead influence and maybe a little bit of Helmet as well. Jason Newsted is also a very good frontman. Before this album, Newstead released the EP, just simply titled Metal. The 2 songs I suggest would be Kings of the Underdogs and Soldierhead. Number 4, Debris Inc., self-titled, 2005, Candlelight Records. Debris Inc. is a punk collaborative of guitarist Dave Chandler of St. Vitus and bassist Ron Holzner of the band Trouble. The album features a few guests, members of the band Crisis, with Karen Crisis on vocals, Afzal on guitar, and a friend of mine, the late Tony Costanza, on drums. Drummer Jimmy Bauer of the band Down has also served time in the band. My favorite track on the record is You're the Reason I'm Medicated, as well as The Ballad of Debris and I Feel Like Shit Again. If you're a fan of St. Vitus' more faster songs, this might be an album you might like. 5, Teenage Time Killers, Greatest Hits Volume 1, 2015, Rise Records. The main performer on the album is guitarist Mick Murphy from the band My Ruin, and the late Reed Mullen on drums from Corrosion Conformity. Teenage Time Killers' main style is punk rock, featuring several well-known guests, such as Lee Ving from Fear, Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys, Dave Grohl and Pete Stahl of the band Scream, Phil Ryan from Sacred Reich, Neil Fallon of Clutch, Corey Taylor of Slipknot, former Corrosion of Conformity Carl Agel, Woody Weatherman and Mike Dean of Corrosion of Conformity, and several others. The late Reed Mullen even provided vocals on a few tracks. Hopefully one day a Volume 2 may come out, but it is not well known that many recordings are ever made. Number 6, Sausage, Riddles Are Abound Tonight, 1994, Interscope. Les Claypool from Primus decided to use the name due to the Primus demo with this lineup, the Sausage demo lineup, and the sound represents the old sound Primus used to do. The title track to the record is also a single and a music video. The band also went on tour with Helmet and Rollins Band to promote the record. Number 7, Christ Inversion, self-titled, 2006, Housecore Records. Christ Inversion was New Orleans' premier black metal band, mainly known as having Philip Anselmo on guitar of the band Pantera, and fronted by Wayne Fabra of the band Graveyard Rodeo, who also drummed with Necrophagia with Philip Anselmo. The band also featured Tommy Buckley of the band Soylent Green and Crowbar. The album was actually recorded in 1994, with the original title, Obey the Will of Hell, on cassette. Christ Inversion also released a second demo in 1995 called 13th Century Luciferian Rites. If you're a fan of lo-fi old-school black metal, you might like this record. 8, Pap Smear, Music to Kill By, 2008, Metal War Productions. Pap Smear was a hardcore thrash crossover band from Las Vegas in the 1980s. This album is mainly a collection of the first 2 EPs, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas from 1986, and Lunch with the PMRC in 1987, plus live tracks as well. The band was fronted by the late Tony Costanza, in his teens long before he played drums for Machine Head, Crowbar, and Crisis. The band still exists with an almost complete different lineup, with guitarist Eric Thompson as the only constant member in the band. 9. Shrine Builder, self-titled album, 2009, Neurot Records. Shrine Builder was a doom metal supergroup featuring Scott Weinrich of The Obsessed and St. Vitus on both vocals and guitar, as well as vocalist-bassist Al Cisneros of the band Sleep, guitarist-vocalist Scott Kelly of Neurosis, and drummer Del Crover from the Melvins. This is an outlet where all vocalists shine in their own way, as if the Beatles injected steroids into their own equipment. The album only features 5 tracks, with the shortest length song only being 6 minutes long. The album almost hits a 40-minute mark, yet worth every second. Check it out. Number 10, Beyond Fear, self-titled album, 2006 on SPV Records. This band features vocalist Tim Ripper Owens, formerly of Judas Priest and Iced Earth. Beyond Fear has similarities of Judas Priest and Iced Earth, this time with Ripper Owens being primary songwriter. The album as a whole is very good, but the standout track I recommend would be Coming At You. Hopefully we get a second album by this band, but Ripper is currently busy with KK's Priest and Charred Walls of the Damned at the moment. Number 11, Jones Lounge, self-titled, 2002, self-released. One of New Orleans' best-kept secrets, featuring Kyle Thomas of X-Order and Floodgate, and many other bands he's been in. The album features drummer Tommy Buckley of Soylent Green and Crowbar, and it was produced by Dave Fortman of Ugly Kid Joe. The album is released as a CDR, and this album might resurface one day officially. And the style of Jones's Lounge is similar to Floodgate. Most of the album is very bluesy, but has a couple heavy songs for good measure. The album is a must-have, and I hope for the re-release soon. Number 12, Pitts vs. Preps, Below and Beyond, 2006, self-released. Also featuring Kyle Thomas and another unsigned band from New Orleans. Pitts vs. Preps sound is a cross between stoner metal, groove metal, and thrash, and features good guitar work by Jason Portera. This album is another hard-to-find gem, but one day hopefully we'll get a reissue. The CD is long out of print, but you can stream it online. And a bonus album, number 13, Nail Bomb, with the album Point Blank, 1994, Roadrunner Records. A one-off side project by Max Cavalera during his time at Sepultura, now currently of Soulfly, and Alex Newport of the band Fudge Tunnel. Both members provided lead vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, and bass, as well as drum programming. Andreas and Igor from Sepultura and Dino from Fear Factory make guest appearances on the album. The band's style is a crossover of thrash metal, groove metal, and industrial, a mixture of both members' notable bands. I can even hear a little bit of Ministry and KMFDM in the mix. Nail Bomb only performed one live gig, which was Dynamo 1995, and that became their live album, Proud to Commit Commercial Suicide. The live lineup also featured members of Biohazard, Neurosis, Dead Kennedys, Sepultura, and Doomed. Thank you for checking out Mean Street Journal. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and ring the bell. Please and thank you. Check out Mean Street Journal on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. TeePublic also carries Mean Street wear for offensive apparel. Check it out. See ya.